Avengers Endgame chill review. I'm not so much committing to the non-spoiler. If I let something slip out, my mistake. Most important thing you need to know is there's no post-credit scene, so I just saved you 10 minutes. All of a sudden, this 3-hour movie is 2 hours and 50. This was an emotional ride. A lot of action, but they leaned on the emotion of the action, which is cool. If that's the route you want to go. And there's enough action for all of you action buffs. You'll like it. There's a lot to break down, which I don't want to get into. So I liked things like the Jim Starlin cameo. That's the author of the Infinity Gauntlet storyline. He was in this movie. It was cool to see something like that and identify it. Obviously, Stan Lee has a cameo, but as far as the plot of the movie, I would say the highlight would be, let's say, Black Widow, and I'll leave it there. I like what they did with the Hulk. Things that I didn't like, Thor's aesthetics. You'll see the movie and you'll get it. I'm just like, nah, not for me. The reason for why Ant-Man, his whole inclusion in the movie, it didn't satisfy me either. But as far as the comedy, yeah, there's always going to be too much comedy. There's always going to be comedy. Sometimes there's too much comedy, and this was where it was like, okay, you just passed the barrier of too much comedy. It wasn't as funny as Infinity War though, but that's cool. And I was with the fanboy audience who were clapping at every, even during it's not a spoiler, even during the credits, people's names would show up and they're like, yeah, like they're not in the theater, people. If that's how you get down, that's how you enjoy your movies, by all means. I don't want any dislikes on this video, so I'm going to pander to you right now. Things that I liked about this movie also would be, I can't even say that. I shouldn't say that. I'll just say, maybe I'll do a second review. I'll do a second review of this movie with all the spoilers. I'll have to rewatch it again. But you gotta know that this is a good movie that panders to the smart, hardcore fan of this genre. The guys who watched all of the movies 5 times, it's like, yeah, I know exactly what's happening. Now, with the things that they allude to, something like time travel, and that's all I'll say. It satisfied me. But if I were to think of, hey, this doesn't make sense, I'm sure I could find, I actually did find problems with it where I had to explain to the person I went to the movie with, how does this happen? Why does this make sense? They never go to the future. They always go to the past or present. And that's where I'm telling myself, okay, that's why everything makes sense. Nobody ever goes to the future. It's always past and present. That's not a spoiler in plot. We all know that was happening. But what else do I want to say? Let's think. This movie was cool. It was slow. It was surprising in the beginning. And it's like, I got to get myself gathered. But we do settle down. We have an understanding of where we are in the universe. And the goal is very clear, even though they're fucking with something like time travel. But it is understood. And as soon as they get going, and I guess you'd call it the end game, begins, you can see all the puzzles fitting. I understand Doctor Strange's motivation in Infinity War. I understand a whole lot about Infinity War. This movie made that movie better. That's a high praise to give to a movie. It made almost every other movie better. Yeah, man, it really did. And it made... This was a good-ass movie. I'm giving it a 10. It was so satisfying to see this, especially when we knew nothing from the trailers. The trailers didn't reveal much. I thought we would get I thought things that I didn't get in the movie trailer, and that's where I'll leave it. If me mentioning time travel ruined this review for you, I'm sorry and I apologize 100%, but I never said it was not going to be a spoiler review. You can subscribe to the channel here, because on Saturday, after I rewatch this movie, you're going to get a long, good 45-minute sit down with me, breaking down everything, talking about the spoilers, and if I sound like a smart dude to you, then you know I'm the guy.